Flags over Georgia's are home tonight for Tuesday night fights presented by Miller High Life. The finest of Atlanta is here for the card, along with a fired-up Falcon squad. They're all here to root for one of their own, Georgia's O'Neal Bell. He is the cruiserweight that is climbing up the charts with 15 wins, all by way of knockout. Tonight, he's in with Jason Robinson, a former kickboxing champion, chasing a new belt. In addition, they follow him across the South, noon in Georgia's Evo Elder. He's 13-0 and aiming for a title shot. Tonight, his toughest test yet, Emmanuel Clottey. It's going to be an exciting night of boxing. Hang on.
Welcome to Tuesday Night Fights!
It's been a hit-and-miss day for rain here in Atlanta, but it's a beautiful night for boxing. Max Kellerman along with
beautiful being
Mario
the operative word there, Mario.
Well, it's time to operate for the two of us here.
Right.
It's
you got my undivided attention now.
We need to focus on boxing, Max. All right. And the fight that everyone here in Atlanta is focusing on this evening, junior welterweight action, Emmanuel Clottey against Evo Elder.
Yeah, you know, the interesting thing about Evo Elder is that he and his father are trying to challenge the old adage in boxing that a father and son shouldn't work together. Several teams in recent boxing history have challenged that axiom, and they've turned it around a little bit. Shane Mosley and Jack Mosley, to a lesser degree Floyd Mayweather and his father, Ham Johnson and Mark Too Sharp Johnson. But there are still countless examples. Boxing history is littered with examples of father-son relationships that haven't worked out. And Elder the Elder, his father, are an example of a team that some people are a little bit suspicious about. They feel that the Elder, the father, is living through his son vicariously a little too much. Well, this is the first real test for Evo Elder, the fighter, as a professional. Let's see how he handles it.
All right, thank you very much, Max. And we now present our opening bout of the evening. It's a co-main event presented by Miller High Life. It's O'Neal Bell against Jason Robinson in action from the cruiserweight division. And that is a look at Jason Robinson right there. Comes in excellent shape at a height of 6'2", weight 190. He's 26 years of age, fighting out of Maywood, Illinois. Smart 13-1-0 with 7 knockouts. Crowd here at ringside cheering for the hometown fighter, O'Neal Bell. Comes in with almost the same type of dimensions. His weight 191, height 6'1", age 26, out of Roswell, Georgia. His mark is 15-1-0 with 15 knockouts. But look at this graphic right here. 15-1 overall, 15 KOs, 93% knockout percentage, 10 KOs in the first 3 rounds, 3 first-round knockouts. He is an absolute workhorse inside of the ring as well as outside of the ring. Cassandra Henderson has more with that.
Mario, well, there is a story circulating throughout Atlanta. O'Neal Bell is brutal when it comes to sparring partners. Recently, he's in the ring sparring with the guy. He hurts the guy so bad, the guy says no more. O'Neal gets so angry, he proceeds to take off his gloves and says, I'm going to beat you one way or the other. O'Neal Bell means business each and every time he steps into the ring. And I know Max has a lot to say about that.
Yeah, starting with the fact that I think Cassandra cleaned up what O'Neal Bell really had to say there.
And we start first round of action between Bell and Robinson. Action from the cruiserweight division.
Little lightning in the background. Here comes one of these tortured metaphors, I guess you call it. Lightning strikes here tonight for one of these two cruiserweights. This division's so wide open.
But it's a division, Max. It really does not draw the attention of many in the sport of boxing.
That's right. That's why one impressive win. Since Holyfield left the division, it hasn't been in the public eye. And how long ago did he leave already? 1988, 89? He was a great cruiserweight. And since then, there haven't been any really great cruiserweights. So one impressive performance, an electrifying performance. They're getting back to the lightning. You see what I did there just there?
It's cute.
And all of a sudden, you got eyes opened looking at these because the division is wide open. Girov is there. He's impressive, but there's rumors that he's ducking James Toney. They had a fight set on Coney Island. That's not coming through. Virgil Hill just upset Teozzo. I mean, the division's wide open. You have one impressive showing, and suddenly you're a major player there. Meanwhile, both these guys, Bell and Robinson, haven't lost in a long time. I mean, it's been 4 years since either one of these guys lost. How long has it been?
It's an extremely pivotal fight for both fighters, no doubt about it, and one where defeat tonight is a first in ages for both. But it'll be very interesting to see how this fight develops, because many people were not giving Jason Robinson much of a chance coming into this bout.
That's a good point. And Bell, you've heard a lot of good things about him. Cassandra mentioned a few there at the top, and there are lots of rumors about how hard he works and what a tough fighter he is. But Robinson ain't used to losing, folks. This is a guy who's, and you can see they're both fighting that way. Neither one of these guys looks like he's coming in here to roll over. It's been a crisp, action-packed fight so far.
It is an absolute wide-open division, but it places the fighters in a very difficult position, because here you have two fighters in Robinson and Bell, decent records. Let's say if one loses tonight, he can still bounce back and pad out his mark. Does he go up to a heavyweight, or does he possibly go back down and lose the weight and challenge at 175?
No, the heavyweights are too big nowadays for cruiserweights. I know Juan Carlos Gomez is trying it, and Holyfield did it. He was an undersized heavyweight. Oh, and by the way, Superman, so he was able to do it. But for the most part, these monsters are too big at heavyweight. There really should be a super heavyweight division, and I don't see either one of these guys getting down to light heavy. You look at them, they're in pretty good shape at 190. No, the cruiserweight's where they got to make their mark. And so far, neither really able to impose his will on his opponent. It's been back and forth.
Well, this first round has been back and forth between Robinson as well as Bell. We'll have round number 2 coming up in just a moment from Atlanta, Georgia.
You take care of your engine, right? Change your oil every 3,000 miles. I don't think so. You don't have the time. Blowing off everything you were taught. Better start using reformulated Quaker State. Protection beyond 3,000 miles under any driving conditions. So your engine won't stop you. Because this is no place to find out you've been a bad boy. Reformulated Quaker State. What more do you need to know?
Take one proven winner, team him up with another, and together, they make racing history.
Tuesday Night Fights is presented by Miller High Life. And in part by Just for Men. More than a hair color, it's the Rejuvenator. Ends gray in 5 minutes, looks natural. And by Sports Century. The top 50 and beyond. Weeknights at 8, only on ESPN Classic.
And welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia for round number 2 between Bell and Robinson.
We saw a shot of Nina Allen, by the way, at the end of the last round. Cheerleader, Atlanta Falcons cheerleader slash fighter, and we saw her on Friday Night Fights about a year and a half ago in a fight I thought she won, and I thought she got robbed. Good little fighter.
Very evenly matched first round between Bell and Robinson. Just a difference of about 3 to 4 punches in terms of punches landed as well as thrown.
You know, one thing O'Neal does with those punches that you do see landing, and they haven't been landing on the chin, but he's been wisely throwing them to the chest, are those vicious overhand rights. Just throw it at the guy's chest at first. You don't have to worry about the chin right away. Not only is that a scoring body shot and can wear a guy down, but sometimes you aim for the chest and you hit the chin.
Hit the body. That's right. Hit that body. Hit the body.
O'Neal looks the hook to the body and the nice little right uppercut, but it's that overhand right that you can see.
You can see Bell just holding with the left hand and just raising.
There it is, and he wobbled Robinson badly with that right hand. He landed a right hand high on the head, and it looked like to me that Robinson was actually hurt, not just wobbled for a second, but looked like he was hurt there for a second.
But if you look at the way Bell holds on to that left arm, Max, he's constantly holding on, wrapping, and then just throwing that uppercut. Many referees would jump in there and call it an illegal tackle.
Yeah, but they would also say, you know, punch out of it, and he might argue that he's trying to punch out of it. Certainly, he's punching well right now, and it's that right hand right up the middle he's throwing, almost overhand. That's looks like his most vicious punch.
Well, there is a lot of blood now coming down the right nostril of Jason Robinson. And O'Neal backs him up with a right, and he's got Robinson in trouble in the corner.
There it was again and again. You saw two of those right hands. And it's funny, you know, he took something off those right hands, which is why they landed more accurately. Sometimes you slow up the punch and you don't try and swing quite as hard, and that's when you land your shots.
The standing 8 is being administered. This is allowed in the state of Georgia. It is not a common rule, but in Georgia, they do acknowledge the standing 8 count, and Jason Robinson has just received it. And O'Neal Bell continues with the onslaught. Everything he's throwing, Max, seems to be landing.
That's right. People, after last week's situation, people worried about the fighter's safety. Generally, the second round in a close fight, a guy hasn't taken too much punishment. You don't have to worry. It's when you see 2, 3, 4 rounds of this kind of punishment consecutively that you need a fight stop. I like that call by the ref. I thought it was right on the money, the standing 8.
O'Neal Bell says he has a very awkward style, but it has worked for him beautifully here tonight in just a matter of 6 minutes of action. Jason Robinson and O'Neal Bell going at it from Atlanta. We'll have more when we continue. Welcome back to ringside here at Six Flags over Georgia. It's been an incredible bout here for O'Neal Bell early on against Jason Robinson, Max.
See a little flurry. He's holding with the left, throwing the right uppercut. And that was kind of a looping right hook off the wrong foot. It's been working for him, though.
And this is what led to the standing 8 count. It was a flurry in the corner, but it wasn't. I mean, to say it was a flurry would be an injustice for Bell. It was really just a bunch of power
hard
punches.
Shots,
yeah. You know, you think of flurry, you can think of someone like a Shane Mosley throwing a lot of
or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that right hand again.
That right hand is just landing at will against Jason Robinson's chin.
That's it. He's lining him up for it. I mean, it's working. It's like I said last week, if a catcher can't throw you out. Mike Piazza hasn't been able to throw anyone out recently. Everyone's just running wild on him. That's what you do.
Power punches have been the difference, Max. He's pretty much doubled him up there. 28 to 14 landed in the power punches. 50% accuracy with his blows as well. I mean, when you have accuracy and you have power behind it, it's devastating.
Yeah, you know, my father used to tell me stories about Sandy Koufax, how when he came up with the Brooklyn Dodgers originally, he was overthrowing a little bit. He threw 1,000,000 miles an hour, but with no control, and the pitching coach told him to slow it down a little bit. And as soon as Koufax slowed it down a little bit, you know, threw 95 instead of 100, he became maybe until Pedro Martinez, the greatest pitcher of all time. And sometimes with fighters, it's the same sort of thing. They got a real good, strong right hand, and they're too aggressive with it. They need just to get it under control a little bit, because you saw last round when Bell just kind of threw it not quite as hard. The accuracy started going, you know, more in the right direction for him. He started landing it and hurting Robinson consistently.
And Robinson's trying to get in control here as well. But there's that body punch. It goes. Referee has called time here.
What's he doing? Why did he call time?
He's giving him a warning. I believe it was for the low blow, but he's landing those low punches.
Yeah.
And they open things up upstairs.
It's true, but they are kind of borderline on the belt, maybe not really low, maybe in the bladder more like, but it's the referee's discretion, and he just wants to make sure that he keeps him up.
Well, George Chip has already administered the 8 count here tonight. He's already provided a warning.
Generally,
he's making a statement that he will be involved throughout the bout.
And generally, the old saying in boxing is the referee's good if you don't notice him, but sometimes he has to take control, and I think the ref's done a good job so far.
No defense, though, by Jason Robinson as Bell continues to land the big left and right hooks. It's the right, though, that's been setting things up beautifully for him.
That's all.
And there's a left now by Jason Robinson. It's got Bell.
Left uppercut, rather. Yeah, that left uppercut did business. That was
and Bell is now in trouble in the corner.
He was rocked by a left uppercut about 15 or 20 seconds ago, folks.
You can see Robinson's corner on their feet right there, screaming at him to continue to pour the pressure. Bell escapes.
And maybe I've overstated Bell's right hand in the first round and that left uppercut just then, but both of them reacted to those big shots like they were badly hurt for a moment or two.
Late punch there, but Chip is in the middle to split.
Good scrap, good scrap.
Let me get over here just a second. You get on there. Okay, good. That's right.
So, look, left uppercut time. Left uppercut time. Great. Towel, somebody. Where's the towel?
Give me the towel. Jimmy, get the towel. Okay. Give me that towel, baby.
Here you see the left uppercut counter by Robinson. That first one, I think, is the one that did it. You see, and then the follow-up kind of left hook off the wrong foot didn't really help things. There, Bell kind of not really respecting Robinson's power so far, able to land as he pleases, and if you want to counter a right hand, you got the guy wrapped up. Well, that wasn't the counter, but if you want to counter a right hand and a guy's just throwing it seemingly at will, you throw a nice short left hand just like that. If you know the right hand's coming. Time it and beat him to the punch.
O'Neal and Robinson have just gone back and forth throughout this bout. You can see total punches in terms of percentage. There's 31-26 in favor of Bell, who has come on here in the last 2 rounds, Max.
Yeah, Robinson had that good moment with the uppercut in the last round, and other than that, Bell, starting with the second round, has dominated the fight.
Yeah, but you have to give him a ton of credit here for just bouncing back from just a beating that he was not expecting here in the first and second round. And credit goes to his corner as well for getting him back into this fight when he seemed to be out on his feet.
Well, you know something, it's the people at home know. You get in the habit of quitting something, you'll continue to quit. A fighter that loses because he gives a little bit and does, you know, even if you're going to the gym, Mario, you go to the gym, you don't go so much this week. No, so it's easier to keep not going, or anything in your life that you need to do consistently. But a fighter like Robinson that's been winning for a while and hasn't been giving in those situations, in those tough spots, is less likely to give because he's trained himself. He's in the habit of pushing through those tough spots, and that's what makes good fights. 2 guys like that. We have 2 of them here tonight.
Well, Robinson has not lost in nearly 4 years. His last defeat coming against Rahman Green in September of 1997. He was knocked out in the first round of that bout.
And Robinson looked like he rocked Bell again with a good, crisp flurry. And I'm going to make a Muhammad Ali, George Foreman reference here that people say, how can you compare it? But it kind of reminded me of those mid-round flurries.
Oh, and there goes Robinson with the left that knocks down O'Neal Bell.
That's it, the left hand, but it started with that Ali-esque flurry off the ropes, where a guy's kind of like Foreman, sleepwalking in, not respecting what's going on, and he snapped his head back, snapped Bell's head back with a good 3-4 punch combination. And that's what I think set up that knockdown a little bit later.
That's a slip there. Robinson
they jumped into each other.
Went in with the body, and Bell put his shoulder down and knocked him down. Fitting that we had the Falcons cheerleaders there at ringside, because it looked like a nice block to me.
That ring is wet from the rain. And it's impressive that these guys have held up as well as they have so far. And that might be the idea for Robinson. Let Bell feel comfortable and confident. Come in kind of sleepwalking, and you bounce off and hit him with those 2 and 3 and 4 punch combinations.
Well, Cassandra Henderson passed us a note here in between rounds saying that
always working.
That O'Neal's corner, surprising how great a shape Jason Robinson is in for this fight.
I don't know why they'd be surprised. The guy hasn't lost in a couple of years.
And look how he's delivering.
Never underestimate your opponent. And if you're Robinson, you're thrilled if they've underestimated you.
I can't stop this feeling. Now, put on a smiley face with Spirit of the 70s from TV Music for You. 30 classic hits from an unforgettable era.
We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun. I got a brand new pair of roller skates, you got a brand new key.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
You're a rich girl, and you're gone too far. Rock the boat, don't rock the boat, baby. lovely. Louie. Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
Everybody's doing a brand new dance now.
Spirit of the 70s, an 8-track flashback from TV Music for You. Here's how to order. Call toll-free for Spirit of the 70s. 2 cassettes, $21.99. 2 CDs, $26.99, plus shipping. Have your credit card ready and call now.
Okay. You see a guy's head get flown 3 or 4 times in different directions. Knockouts soon follow generally, and there was one. Bell's back hit the ropes. He was squared up, and he got caught with a straight left hand. Your back hit the ropes, and you come off the ropes squared up to your opponent with both feet facing him and your torso facing him instead of at an angle with your shoulder. You can get dropped. There's more of you to hit, and you have no anchor back foot to keep you upright if you do get hit.
Well, Bell is staying right in front of Robinson now, not showing as much movement as before, and before he got clipped when he was moving around there, and his foundation isn't shit.
And you know something, what you see Robinson throwing more and landing more last round. What I don't like about what I'm seeing from Bell, you gotta love his determination and his physical strength and the way he keeps firing those vicious shots. But he's showing himself to be a little bit one-dimensional, if not one-dimensional, at least unable to make adjustments. He may be able to make an adjustment, but he's not doing it. In other words, he may have the ability that he can box a little bit, but we're not seeing it here. He just keeps coming forward, throwing that big overhand right, and maybe it'll work for him, but it could lead to disaster, and against a better fighter, it will lead to disaster.
Speaking of disaster, one of Robinson's close friends on Friday night suffered his first defeat as a professional, Michael Bennett. I asked him about that fight and what it meant for him. Said he was devastated by seeing his friend go down. However, he realizes that in this sport, you just cannot take anything for granted, and he said that it pretty much inspired him going into today's bout.
Oh.
Big left there by Robinson that rocks Bell.
Oh. That was no joke, man. Waved in the breeze. Bell waved in the breeze, and he is in serious trouble. A dangerous guy, clearly, and Robinson just waved in the breeze from a devastating... I mean, these guys are trading very big shots, folks, and they're landing flush. From 1 second, it looks like one guy's about to drop, and the next second, it looks like the next guy. I don't know if that's coming through as much on the TV screen, but seeing here live, sitting ringside, you can really see it. They're both waving when they get hit with those shots. Robinson from Bell's right hand, Bell from Robinson's left hook. Keep your eyes peeled. Don't go to the fridge for that Miller High Life yet. Not right now. Wait to the commercial, and you wait for in-between fights and run, but not during this, folks.
Bell gets cracked again with another left by Robinson. And it's just an amazing change of momentum here.
That's
for Jason Robinson.
You just hit the nail on the head. The momentum shifts in this fight with each punch thrown. What concerns me about Bell is a little bit predictable. He just keeps coming forward with that right hand, and Robinson might time him.
Those pins are going down easier than a French prize fighter. And here's something else that goes down easy. Miller High Life Light. Beer frame after beer frame. After beer frame. You'll be glad there's also a lightweight to live. The High Life.
And it's raining outside of the ring here in Atlanta, and inside, they're raining punches.
I saw where you were going with that one. And here we go. That right hand, look, there it is. That right hand is just predictable. Robinson times him, smacks him with a left hook, and it rocked him, folks. You didn't see his legs just there, but his legs shook. And later in the round, this should be Bell's right hand right here. No, it's more Robinson.
And there is O'Neal Bell's fan club here in Atlanta.
O'Neal and Robinson.
They're fighting.
Like an NBA matchup.
And we're talking about the momentum at the end of the last round, Max. Look at the last 4 rounds. 23-22 in terms of differences for punches landed for Bell, and then it just shifted completely the other way in favor of Robinson.
This is anybody's fight, and I know it may look to some that Bell is the stronger of the two. He stays aggressive, but when a fighter doesn't show the willingness to adapt to his man and make adjustments, in professional sports, and all professional sports on a world-class level, it's about adjustments. When you don't make those adjustments, another guy's adjusting to you and you wind up losing the fight.
Well, we saw the adjustments that Robinson's made since early on. You see that he's carrying his hands much higher than before as Bell swings wildly and misses. He's carrying his hands much higher, Robinson, and he's made the adjustments necessary that you were alluding to in this fight, but he's pretty much stayed with the same type of game plan, and that's the press forward, which he's doing right now, and leading with that right.
Yeah, except that what I've noticed from after the first round is Robinson waits for Bell to get a little happy with that right hand, and he times him and counters him with left hands. And even there, you see that's rhythm that Robinson is showing right there. It's throwing punches when the other guy's not expecting it. It's not just going out and moving your hands. Robinson has been throwing in the last several rounds at the time where Bell's not expecting it, where it doesn't seem like there should be a punch there. It's disrupting Bell's rhythm, and it's scoring for Robinson. Not to make it sound one-sided, it's certainly not. This is anybody's fight. And Bell just rocks Robinson with a left-right. Also, keep in mind, these gloves might be a little bit waterlogged at this point, which means heavier and landing harder.
And now this is starting to change again in favor of O'Neal Bell.
Yeah, Robinson don't want to be in that corner.
The momentum is changing once again here in Atlanta. We're in the 6th round of a Schedule 10. In this opening bout of the evening, it's the co-main event. Coming up, the main event, Ivo Elder and Emmanuel Claudy, in just a few minutes. Jason Robinson and Arnaud Beal are just going at it and getting the crowd fired up here early.
Good lead right hand from Bell, maybe lacking some of the snap it had a few rounds earlier. Left-hand counter from Robinson right afterwards. You just saw another left from Robinson. Mario, if you ask someone what's the #1 priority, you want to see a good fight, what's the first thing you're looking for to make a fight compelling? Probably shifts in momentum. And this fight, you're absolutely right. From moment to moment, you don't know who's in control, and it's making it for a very entertaining fight.
Big right by Bell, but Robinson stays right in front of him and follows up with the left. Don't go away. Bell and Robinson are going at it.
First, I lost my job.
Then the car broke down.
The credit cards were a big help to get by.
But now we use one card to pay another, just to make the payments.
We had a lot of medical expenses. The credit cards were a big help, but now I can't make the payments.
Debt-Free works with over 50,000 creditors to reduce or eliminate interest and consolidate bills into one easy monthly payment. In 30 minutes or less, we can typically lower your payments and consolidate bills into one monthly payment with no loan and no credit check.
I used to make 8 separate credit card payments. Now I just make 1, and it's even lower.
Our debt is more manageable now.
We both feel like we're building a new debt-free life.
When calling, have your most recent bills and balances owed.
Finally, consolidate your bills today with no loan, no credit check, and instant approval. Call now.
Drop the form, man.
Here you see some of the action from the last round. This doesn't need too much explanation. Guys are winging hard shots at each other.
And we return to the action here between Robinson and Bell. Live action.
Robinson just took a real strong right hand that had staggered him, that same type of right earlier in the fight, and shook his head like he shook off the punch and kept coming forward.
Break, step back.
You know,
Don't use the rope for spin. All right? Box, keep it going. Come on now.
they reset, just reload, and go at it again. Oh.
Big right that lands on Robinson by Bell, but it seems like it's Bell that gets the worst out of it.
Yeah,
he almost stumbles.
It's all he's doing. It's like Ali dubbed George Foreman the mummy. He just keeps coming at you. Very predictable. Bell's being too predictable. He has a lot of heart, a lot of determination. He's physically strong, a nice right hand. He's a fierce competitor, but he's too predictable. And whether unwilling or unable to make changes, we don't know. But he's not making adjustments as the fight wears on.
And where Robinson, as you mentioned, Max, the adjustment factor here is where Robinson's been successful is that he's been able to counterpunch effectively.
Although he's still getting hit with too many of those predictable right hands.
He is.
And that maybe is just a tribute to Bell's athleticism. He's able to get the punch home because he's quick enough and strong enough. And you know something, and determined enough. A lot of times you say, how does a guy land a right hand didn't look that quick? Because he's brave enough and determined enough that he'll go in and throw it in the face of punches coming back.
Well, now's where the courage is going to really start to take place because, Max, neither of these two guys have much experience past the 6th round. In fact, only 2 fights in the 8th round for Robinson, while Bell has gone the distance in his last 2. And we talk about the activity late in the fight. Keep in mind the activity during their careers. For Robinson, he's only had 1 fight.